Hello interwebs, welcome to Let's Fix Computers. I thought I'd do a quick chat with you guys about anti-glare coatings on laptop screens or any other kind of screens, and what happens when they get damaged. When I've done videos that show how I've cleaned laptops, typically using just ordinary household window and glass cleaner and things like that, people have often told me, oh, you need to be careful, you'll damage the surface of the screen with that. And I've always responded the same way, is no, I've been using it for years, never done any damage. However, what I thought I'd do is, I've got an example here of a laptop that has a damaged screen surface, and I just want to show you what it actually looks like when it happens, and also just clarify that using something like window and glass cleaner isn't going to damage or even make this worse, to be honest. But at any rate, let's have a chat. So this is a MacBook Pro. It's a 2014, and some of the early MacBook Pro Retinas, the 2013s and a couple of the early 2014s, which I think this is, were notorious for having issues with the anti-glare coating on the screen. So you can see we've got a nice black glass-fronted anti-glare screen here, but there's a lot of damage to the anti-glare coating around the outsides of the laptop. And there's a few marks down the center that are difficult to pick up by the camera. So let me give you a close-up so you can see this in greater detail. So you can see here, it looks like sort of scratching on the screen, and that's essentially what it is. The anti-glare coating is that super black looking layer. Now the black that you're seeing is actually the LCD itself, and the anti-glare coating is preventing the reflection of light from lightening the surface of the screen. So what you see up here, where there is no coating, this needs cleaning up a little bit. But I mean, if you really rubbed away at that to get right down to the actual glass layer, under there you'll find just pure unscratched glass. And you know, the screen will be completely visible through it. However, any kind of light shining onto the screen will reflect very easily. So it'll be really hard to look at the light when there's sunlight in the room and that kind of thing. And so it will drastically diminish the picture quality of the screen. So this anti-glare layer, this is exactly the part that people say you will damage if you improperly clean your screen. But there's a couple of caveats to this, is that firstly, not a lot of computer monitors actually have an anti-glare coating on them. MacBook Pro, Apple laptops, so MacBook Pros, MacBook Pros basically, the MacBook Air doesn't have one. So basically, yeah, MacBook Pros are more or less the only laptop that I can think of off the top of my head that has an anti-glare coat. There's probably some of the old Sony X-Black screens that have them and things like that, but whatever. Anyway, so most of the time, your laptop doesn't even have an anti-glare coating on it. It's only if you've got a glass-fronted laptop like this that it might have an anti-glare coating. And this is what it looks like when it gets damaged. So you might ask yourself, well, you know, can anything be done to repair this? And the answer to that is not really. I mean, in this instance, this damage is all around the edges of the screen, presumably where the screen's just been open and shut a million times. It's been a solid workhorse, this laptop. It belongs to a customer who has used it and just driven it into the ground, which is exactly what laptops are designed for. You know, it's a tool. You use it, and when it wears out, you throw it out and you get another one. But you can't really do anything about this, because the problem is that this anti-glare coating, when they make the glass, the anti-glare coating is not just something, it's not a liquid, it's not like polish. You can't just apply a new amount of it and buff it to a sheen again. One of two things will happen is either they will have evaporated it on there, so it would have been put into a chamber, into like a vacuum chamber, and they will evaporate the anti-glare liquid. So that evaporates as a gas in the chamber, and then it will condense onto the surface of the glass, and it will condense because it's been atomized into a million pieces. It will condense into a perfectly fine film kind of thing. The other method that may have been done is it may have been put on there using that evaporation process is sometimes known as sputtering, I believe. Another method they might have done as well is spinning, where you have the glass as, like, you know, a round plate or something like that, and you spin it at very high speed, and you drip a bit of the liquid directly into the center, and because it's spinning at high speed, it will spread perfectly even across in all directions. as a perfect film that is like a micron thick or something like that. So the long and the short of it is this is done using an industrial process, and you cannot fix this. You cannot repair it. If your screen is completely trashed, and like on some of these MacBooks, you get it so there's a huge, horrible just mess in the middle and you can barely see what's going on the screen. And when that happens, you'll get to the point where you're just like, I don't even care about the anti-glare coating anymore. I want it all gone. So at that point, you can use something strong like probably like nail varnish remover or a very light polish. You'll probably be able to use that because nail polish remover is obviously quite aggressive. You know, something like that is probably enough to actually break down and get rid of the entire anti-glare coating. And then you can just polish all the way down to just bare glass. You'll lose your anti-glare coating, but at least your screen won't look like a mess anymore. So that is something that you could do about that. However, unfortunately, yeah, this is what the damage looks like. And you know, other than using something even more aggressive to take the last of it off, there's not really anything you can do to fix it. And then at that exact moment, the customer came in to collect the laptop that we were just looking at, so I don't have it anymore. But that's basically the end of the video, so I hope that was kind of interesting. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye for now.